world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes is Africans in diaspora and back home leading English news network, one of the most respected and trusted sources for news updates on current affairs as it affects global Africa.
Yes, you can bet on that, viewers. You can bet on the fact that we are one of the most trusted news network covering Africans in diaspora and African back home. My name is Mark Godwin Iweajua, and you're welcome to our edition of News Echoes Global Africa World Affairs. And as usual, I do this with my coordinators, correspondents, and friends, brothers from different parts of the world. Joining me from Toronto, Canada is Sir George Chukwu. Sir George, you're welcome to News Echoes Friday.
Good morning, Mike Godwin, all the way from Toronto, Canada. I'm saying good morning to all the viewers around the world. Welcome to our show today. It's going to be an awesome one.
It's going to be an awesome one, George. With you around, I trust all you bring in on the discussion table. And also on the discussion table, it's not complete when we don't have that beautiful feminine touch. So right there in Lagos, Nigeria is Bidi Nana, the woman we've missed for so long. Where have you been, Bidi?
I've been around. I was really back. I actually traveled. So I'm back now. Thank
Sorry
you for
to hear
having
that.
me once again. Our viewers all around the world. It's okay. It's part of life, yeah. Our viewers all around the world. Thanks for joining us again today. Let's do it like always.
Let's do it like always, gentlemen. And somebody that brings that touch again, it's also our man, Ogbeni Raji from
Ogbeni
Raji. Hey, I like the bow tie and the suit.
I'm giving you bow tie for bow tie, man. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, viewers around the world. Welcome to our Friday program.
Nice. You're welcome, gentlemen. You're welcome, Diva. Okay. A lot of things are going on, as we know. The world is always shaking up with one occurrence or the other, and we do our best to get the ones that probably have some lessons or something that will bring to the awareness of our viewers, and we run with it. While we were sleeping last night, the United Nations met and they were having a deliberation. Gentlemen, lady, I don't know if you were following the news. United States, the United Nations Security Council met and they had their meetings. And what was the purpose? The purpose was actually this thing that happened in the Middle East, Israel and Iran. And a lot of discussion was going on. Anyway, United States vetoed the widely supported resolution at the United Security Council, and this have blocked the way for Palestine to gain full membership at the United Nations. Take note that this has been ongoing for some time now. So 12 nations voted in favor of a resolution, which brought for a vote yesterday, while some other nations abstained, and America, United States, vetoed it. They said no, they're not supporting Palestinians gaining full membership at the United Nations Council. Gentlemen, let's look into this. While we're looking into this, let's check up some recap from what was happening that yesterday. Let me also put on a video clip here of what was going on. Now, what was going on is that U.S. used its power to veto to block Palestinians from having full membership, UN full membership. And while that was happening, also 6 people were killed in Israel attack on central Gaza yesterday in a refugee camp. And while also that was happening, the UN chief Antonio Guterres said 6 months of Israel assault on Gaza has made humanitarian impossible. A lot is being said now about Israel giving passage for humanitarian aid coming to Gaza. So, guys, let's talk. Um, yes, you can see the meeting going yesterday, last night, and that's a glimpse of what was going on. So, George, let me start with
Yes.
George. George, U.S. blocked Palestinians from having that full membership. They've been fighting for this for years now. Yesterday, US used their power to still block them. So what that means is the Palestinians have to probably continue with their effort at becoming full member at the United Nations Council. What's your view on this, George?
Well, part of the whole thing is the divide that is between Israel, US being allies, and some of these countries that has vowed to eliminate Israel. So what you're seeing there is that US, as the big brother to Israel, is basically trying to stop some of those countries or impose sanctions on them. Like after the attack that took place this last time, they imposed sanctions on some of the leaders in Iran. Uh, basically trying to stop them from further escalation of the whole entire thing. But you got to remember too also that Iran did respect US by letting them know what they were going to do ahead of time. And that was basically what took place because they had to retaliate over some of the killings of the leaders in Iran. So these things are just heating up right now. But what you are seeing is protection because these countries that are vowing to eliminate Israel permanently, US will have to stand against them using their veto power to ensure. But part of the reason why they're doing this also is trying to make sure there is no further escalation with Netanyahu going back to attack Iran. And that's part of the reason why they're playing this politics to balance the whole entire thing there. Because what they don't want is an escalation of further problems, which will put a dent on global financial welfare. And it's going to affect a lot of people. Things are tightening up. Things are just, getting worse and worse every day. So they have to be very careful in the way they apply their who they allow to come in and who they want to just make sure that they limit their strength and their powers. And so that's what I'm seeing here.
That's what you're seeing here. Thank you very much. Full membership of a country at the United Nations gives you a lot of privileges,
A
and
lot, a
yes,
lot.
and you're also I mean, a lot of privileges, and you have some power of vote also on some things. Now, if the Palestinians get this full membership, that means that they can now get their um, states. They can now get all they've been looking for, even having Jerusalem as their capital. And yeah, you all know that's one of the things they are looking for. Um, Raji, do
Yes,
you
sir.
think that with more effort, Palestinians can become full member of the United Nations Council?
Uh, what is happening is a real show of the U.S. hypocrisy in especially in the so-called two two state solution, the Israeli-Palestinian issue. There, perhaps I should mention that there are no states presently that are determined to wipe out Israel off the globe. There are no states. In fact, among the Arabs, there have been peace, even between Saudi Arabia and Israel. So there are no states looking for the wiping out of Israel. Therefore, it's only a serious show of hypocrisy on the part of the U.S. for blocking membership of Palestine in the UN. It is not fair. It is not fair. And at the current stage, it is the best thing. It will have been the best thing to do to send a signal to Netanyahu that you are now dealing with the state, and therefore all this aggression against the people, all this deliberate genocide against the Palestinians is now becoming more of an international court of crime court issue. Now, now Netanyahu can go on doing whatever he wants to do. It's not right. It's not fair.
Now,
Thank you.
now he
But
can go on
Netanyahu
doing what he wants.
is
Uh-huh.
being warned. Netanyahu is being warned and being cautioned over retaliation on Iran.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, Iran openly declares annihilation of Israel. It's not you can't deny for them. They're not hiding it. They say it openly. So you can't say hold on.
It may only be what the desires of Iran.
Iran says it openly. They're not denying it. So you can't be
It
denying
is only
for
Iran
them.
then. It is only Iran.
Even if it's only Iran, that's why a sanction is being imposed on them. And not only that, you're talking about Netanyahu. No, the world is coming against Netanyahu and his insistence on what he's doing. Even Joe Biden's support.
Intransigent.
No, even Joe Biden's support is wobbly right now over that because they're warning them not to escalate this thing further.
Forget the old man. The old man doesn't even know.
You know where the hypocrisy. You know where the hypocrisy is. People like you that are supporting, talking about, hypocrisy of US when 100 and something refugee, people that they kidnapped and war this thing are still being held, and you're not talking about that. Let Hamas release these people, and you will see peace.
What is the issue at the UN?
They are still holding those hostages.
The issue at the UN is membership of Palestine as a member of the UN.
They are still holding those hostages.
We are not talking about the Hamas issue now. We are talking about the.
Okay. Let's leave this. Anyway, Hamas yesterday was also following what was going on. BD, go ahead. Yes, I'm coming to you. Hamas condemns that US veto of the UN resolution, and BD. Okay, go ahead. I was going to ask you something, but go ahead. You seem to have something to say with what George is saying.
The what I don't understand is why this section when the war in Gaza is still going on.
Okay. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
I think you're having. Yes, it's okay. Go ahead. Speak again. Speak now.
Yeah, network issues.
Okay, I think it's a network again. Anyway, guys, that's it. Yesterday was fire for fire. But the US
her volume is rather low.
Power to block Palestinian support for full membership in the United Nations, and we hope. All people are equal, like we say, but Dr. Godwin will also say the other thing.
Some are more equal than others. They are more equal than others. And part of the reason why you have to understand is there are conditions in joining, being as adopted and accepted. They have not met those conditions. There is so much internal squabble within them. Their leadership is so weak that you have to wait until they stabilize to ensure that there will be an all-round support of those conditions if the government comes in power.
In that case, we are going to wait forever. There's the president of Palestine.
Let's hear BD. Sorry, gentlemen. Let's hear from BD. BD, from your African point of view, go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm saying is this. I wonder why this section and this deliberation should be going on with the war going on in Gaza by now. Do you understand? Okay. If you look at what is happening, if a Palestinian gets their states or become a member of UN, I wouldn't want to use the kind of what is going on in my mind on this broadcast. But you see, what US is doing, everybody will do what US is doing in respect to this Palestinian becoming a full member of a UN state. Okay. They will do the same thing. Now, without being a member of UN states, you can see what Palestinians are already doing. Now, imagine when they finally become a full member. what is going to happen. So I'm not saying they shouldn't give to them. We are waiting for let them cast the vote. Let's see what's going to happen. Do you understand? So nobody should blame US for what they are doing. They are only protecting their own interests, because Palestinian becoming a full member of UN will affect US interference in the whole of Middle East. That's one we know. Yes.
Good one.
So, but
That's a
what
good one.
I'm not, I don't understand that. Why would this session be going on when what is happening in Gaza is still going on? That's just what I don't understand.
Okay. All right. So we leave that question to what will happen at the end of today, when that
Yeah.
vote will be finally settled. And we'll be following, viewers will be following up with that story. That's the story of United Nations votes. And like you can see in the screen, these are some sneak peek to what was happening yesterday. And we'll continue with more on that update. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. So let's move forward now. Let's move forward to some sad news that happened. Kenya is in Africa, was um, Central Africa. The military chief, a senior officer, a general in the army, one General Francis Ogola, uh, uh, was involved in an helicopter crash in the country's northwest region, and it was a sad one. He died. 9 other people also were in that crash, and we saw. I was part of SSM was part of the media coverage. We were listening to an update on that. Sad news. Sad news. Who has anything on that? Does anybody have any story on that? General Francis Ogola and 9 other people were killed in a crash yesterday, 11:20 GMT time, about 400 kilometers north of the capital, Nairobi. The aircraft was on a visit to troops deployed in northwest of Kenya. They were there to combat what you call cattle rustling, and they came around, but before you knew, they had the crash. It was not clear as of now what the cause of the crash, but they've lost. Kenyans have lost a general, and they say it's a painful loss to them all. Yes, that's the general there in the screen. George, did you hear this story? Did you?
Yes, yes, I did hear the story. It's a very sad news, and even in the light of Kenya trying to send troops to Haiti to quench the problems that are happening there, is a very, very sad news, and our condolences to the families of the people that are bereaved. So we send our condolences to them. It's not a good news at all. Yes.
Yes, Raji.
I support Sir George in sending condolences. Whenever such things happen, we are all human beings. We have a human feeling. So far, there haven't been any suspicion of foul play. So we'll still assume that it's an accident. It's an accident. But Sir George mentioned something about Kenyans going to Haiti to do something. I think it's a very, very treacherous and unnecessary move for Kenya to get involved in the American protected problems in Haiti. I think they should be very careful.
Yeah, they need to be very careful, because barbecue is still, the recently, I think a couple of days ago, barbecue just went and ransacked a lot of prisons and then opened most of the prisons. Most of them were regular prisoners and some political prisoners, and these are things that are taking place in Haiti also. That is bringing a lot of.
We're going to come to the Haiti story.
We'll come to the
Okay.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. So, BD, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Good. Come on. What's it in your mind? You were staring.
Yeah, what is in my mind is this. There's one question I want to ask. My heart goes out to them, Kenyans, and their families. But there's one particular question I want to ask. Why is it that whenever anything happens in Africa, we always suspect that someone must be behind it? Do you understand? We always have that mindset. We don't believe that people, and funny enough, we are not careful. Our carelessness in this part of the world is like 70/30. I'm telling you, we're not careful. We're not conscious people. We don't take little things into consideration. Then when things happen, we begin to think that, oh, somebody must have made it happen. Somebody must have caused it happen. Whereas our negligence, our inability to do things right, to get things done in the right way, have actually caused those things. But some would have made them to die, some would have made them to have that accident. I don't really understand why we Africans are
BD, this is a very interesting and good viewpoint.
believe that people
Yes.
can kill us, somebody can call us. Why don't you think?
Thank you very much. What you've just said is something that it's a mentality that needs to be eroded from the minds of Africans mainly. We need to
Well,
really
I
look
don't
at
think, I really don't think it's only in Africa, my people. This happens when there is a helicopter crash in Russia. We suspect somebody behind it. It happens all over the place. Even the one that happened in there where one of our men died.
Rigwe,
One of the,
Rigwe,
yeah. Okay, when you died, there is an investigation going on. Either it's negligence or maybe was it the negligence of the people that allowed the flight to take place and all those type of things. And there is a lawsuit now against that in the US. So it's not only with us. It's not only with us. It's all over the place. The reason is that because the heart of man has become so wicked, and power hunger people are trying to eliminate those that are maybe standing in their way. So that's part of the reason why it's happening all over. I don't think it's because it's not only in Africa, it's all over the place.
It's all over the place. Wow, thank you, George. BD brought that up, and that was a good one coming from BD.
It's a good one.
Yes, that observation, gentlemen. Rain, flood is everywhere. Flood is taking over the world in every corner. Africa, it's everywhere. But there's a part of the world that it looked like it became too extreme. Up to 260 millimeters of rain fell in Dubai on Tuesday. They say it's more than 2 years of worth of rain at the same time, and the Dubai International Airport was out of action for hours, causing a lot of log jam and problems for travelers. Now it's really interesting when you see those kind of views. This is a video of the airports in Dubai. The rain was all over. Storm pounded the whole of UAE on Tuesday, and we got information that about 20 people have died so far in Oman. Some people died also in I think that's Qatar. Gentlemen, Dubai and the rain and the flood, heavy flood. We know it's also happening in Lagos. But George, when you see things like this, doesn't this tell you something else? Like, is it climate situation?
Nothing to
Is
do with climate.
Okay, George. Yeah,
Mr. George.
George, are you with us? Okay.
No, I mean, is the sign of the times? Is the sign of the times? That's what we're seeing. Number one is Dubai has been a place that we're almost in famine, and they were doing what you call I think it's called cloud seeding. Cloud seeding. In other cloud seeding. Cloud seeding is a scientific discovery that can actually pull rain. It's almost like what happened in most Igbo land. They call rainmakers. Whatever it is, the science they're using to do rainmaking is actually the science that these people were using. And then all of a sudden, he opened the floodgates of heaven, and then the water is all over the place. But it's just a sign of the time. These were prophesied in the Bible that in these last days, all these things will be happening. Earthquakes in the diverse places, strange things will be happening. So that's what we are seeing here. So it's strange. It is strange, but it's one of those things that we're going to be experiencing in these last days.
one of those things
Well,
we'll be experiencing. Go
I,
ahead. Yes,
I don't,
Raji.
I don't
Uh-huh.
have any religious bent to what is happening. You talk about religion when you are not able to explain things scientifically. As you mentioned, Dubai has been doing a lot of cloud seeding, and that cloud seeding has brought an avalanche of rain upon them. I don't know why they weren't preparing for that volume of rain if they were doing that kind of cloud seeding,
Absolutely.
knowing full well that most of their area is almost just a few inches above sea level, and therefore the moment there's more rain than the sea could take, the rain will flood all their lands.
Oh my
Meanwhile,
God.
a lot of buildings have been put in danger, and some of them because of the texture of the area. A lot of the sand that form the
Mhm.
foundation of most of these places have been washed up by the flood. I
Mm.
don't believe the end of is end times, and it has nothing to do with climate change.
Okay.
It's their it's their it's
BD.
their, it's their own
Yeah.
doing. Mm.
Yes,
See,
BD.
what?
We saw that heavy rain in Dubai, Bremen, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia. All of these areas were flooded. They said it's about 260 millimeters of rain.
Mm.
That fell there and causing real havoc. Battered the whole of United Arab Emirates. BD, what? How did you guys see that?
They say what happened in Dubai was not an accident. It was what that has planned to happen. This is nature. There's what we call nature. They've been able to have this rain
I
for
could
2 years.
hardly hear him.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
I
Can
can.
you hear me?
Yes, yes,
No,
we
we
can.
can.
If it increases a little,
It's okay.
yeah.
They
Hmm.
held the rain for 2 years. What happened in Dubai was what they planned for. They held this
Okay.
rain for 2 years. So what came down within 30 minutes was what they have held up for 2 years. I'm
Mm.
saying like it's going to happen in Nigeria. There's this a projection that is one state in Nigeria is prone to experience flood. That it means that all
31.
Nigeria, when 31 states out of 32 is going to experience flood, it means that Nigeria as a country is going to experience flood. What happened
It's
in Dubai
difficult to hear
was
her.
what
It's
Hmm.
they
difficult to hear her.
invited for.
Anyway,
Nature.
yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you, BD. BD. What I had, because my
They were
volume is uh-huh. My volume is a little bit higher here, but what you've said is some very strong one. Number one
Mm.
is that you said that UAE held their reign
Mm.
for 2 years. I saw that news too, and now it just became poured on them more than necessary. And you also said, BD also said that Nigeria is also prone to similar thing. 31 states are prone to heavy flooding. So if we have this information with us now, like we are giving out in this platform, the federal government and the state government and individuals or agencies, ministries in charge of all this environmental stuff should be prepared and work towards avoiding this. Don't you think so, Raji? Because what BD said now
But
is the
but
clue that could be worked on.
our meteorological departments know all these things way ahead,
Hmm.
way ahead. Most times, there's hardly anything you can
see
do to prepare yourself against nature.
Okay.
Prepare yourself against nature. And
Okay.
In the Nigerian case,
see
there are so many things we could do, but hardly anything we can do
Okay.
to
BD,
prevent.
yes,
Yes.
BD, go ahead. If you can increase your volume, it will be nice too. But go ahead with what you're
it's
saying.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, like what I was saying, Dubai invited what they got, but thank God they were prepared because it's just like 20 people that they said died. If Nigeria did not get up now and prepare for what is coming, because 31 states prone to experience flood in Nigeria this year,
Can't hear
out of
her. We can't
32
hear
states, it
her.
means that
Mm.
31 states out of 32 states are in Nigeria, it means all the state is going to experience flood. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you very well, George. George, okay, what she's saying is Nigeria should be prepared to do more in this regard. Viewers, BD is dropping big cipher. And Raji just said the
It
agency.
happens every year.
It happens every year.
Yeah, we
Okay.
know that it's going to happen, but there's hardly anything we can do to prevent it.
No, Raji, there are things that can be done. There are many things that can be done.
We can do something now. There are areas that will have erosions in Nigeria. What are we doing to curb those erosions? There are drainage blockage. We are blocking drainage. What are we doing to open them? Do you understand? There are waterways we have blocked. What are we doing to open them? Do you understand? We have built houses in some waterways. All this thing, there are lots we can do. But see what happened in Dubai. 20 people just died. If that thing had happened in Nigeria, sorry, I know it's my country, more than 100 people would die. I'm telling you. So I think
thank
the
you.
government should do something.
Yes. PD.
I wish I could hear.
Thank you. Yes. Raji, there is nothing that humans don't have solutions for. Yes, natural disasters can catch people up suddenly, but there's always solution to things if we think with our brain instead of sitting down to go to bezel fund and do all those things. So thank you, BD, smart talk. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's okay, go.
Yeah, you know something. One of the major problems we have in Nigeria is if you go back into looking into the funding. This particular Professor Youssef, who is warning, also the minister that is warning all these 148 what do you call them? For the local government areas and 31 states. The thing is this: it happened a couple of years ago. I believe it was in 2022, 2023, when Cameroon, whatever squabble we are having with them, about their Kainji Dam, opened the dam, and then it flooded all over the place. And now the warning is there again. And one of the major problems I have with us is if you go back, you will find out that there are money released over the prevention of this situation. But that money will not be put into any type of thing. What we do now is we'll go into a defense mechanism. When that happens, you want to go take some soldiers to go over there and help and all that kind of. But the preparation of prevention is not there because that money is supposed to be used to see what can be done to prevent, some of these things from, destroying lives and farmlands and all those type of things. But it will not take place until now. When it happens, we begin to cry and say, oh, these things are happening. But like you said, some of them are preventable.
Some of them are
the measure that we need to take ahead of time in order to prevent it.
Gentlemen, let's go on a small break. We'll be back. Good discussion. Thank you, BD. Thank you, George. Thank you, Raji. All of the talk puts it together into perspective, and that's what we do here. Viewers, you are tuned in to Friday edition of SSM World Affairs, and we are here giving you the updates. See you on the other end.
Call us now for your clean and perfect inverter and solar installation. Electricity availability in Nigeria is not constant, due to its erratic supply. A perfect inverter installation will provide you a full power control in your office or home while our so-called PHCN remains the In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes is Africans in diaspora and back home leading English news network, one of the most respected and trusted sources for news updates on current affairs as it affects global Africa.
Viewers, you're tuned in to SSM Friday Global News World Affairs. Gentlemen, we're back. Hope you're all there. Let's hear a little from George on the Trump New York hush money trial. George, what's the update on that? We had this morning that some things were happening. 12 jury have been selected, and the criminal trial against former United States President Donald Trump will be proceeding as soon as possible. George, what do you have on that? Did you get that news?
Yeah, they've been doing the selection for the jurors, and they have actually come up with about 12 of them right now in order to begin the trial. And so it's proceeding. And on one side of it, there's a gag order, on Trump, to stop harassing, intimidating, and also even including the judge, and the officers of the court. We have had that before, several times. Part of the issue we're seeing here is that Trump does not obey the law. Trump believes that he's above the law. So whether they will be able to, gag him, maybe charge him some money over, what has already taken place, and the possibility of him, because there is a threat that he might go to jail if he continues in this way, which is one thing that could happen. There's no telling anyway. But one of the major things that you will see in this particular situation, this is a good thing for Trump. There's nothing, no gimmick that he's not come up with, including selling the Bible, selling tennis shoes in order to raise money. And the gullible followers are just eating it all up. They're gung-ho on it. They don't care. So that's what I'm seeing there.
Oh, good one. Thank you. Raji, yes.
Yes.
This whole thing, is it a gang up, or how tangible is this whole hush puppy money trial thing? Let's hear you. What do you say?
I think Trump is my man. My man is a strong man. Yes, yes. And I think all that they are trying to do is to victimize him and to make him, to call him a dog name, a bad name, just to hang him. But he himself has a lot of bad names around him. He's a gangster. So regardless of whatever you call him, he's willing and is able to defend himself. That's why I like him, because he's a man. He's not just one sissy.
He's willing,
but the gang up will fail.
The gang up will fail. George, you're hearing this, so you're hearing from Raji. BD,
we can predict. We can predict really what is going to happen. The fact of the matter is, the law is taking effect.
Ball. Yes.
You look through the crystal ball.
I've looked through the crystal ball, and okay. I can see him back in the White House.
Go ahead, BD.
I don't think it's a gang up.
Yeah, so sad. We can't hear her.
I don't think it's a gang up. Rather, they are trying to humble him. That's what I think. My inside is
humble him.
What I'm asking is that will they actually try him? That's what I'm watching to see.
We cannot hear you.
Okay, unfortunately.
It's okay. I can hear her. I think you guys also need to increase your volume. I can hear her very well.
It's not a volume.
No, listen to what she's saying so you can understand. She's saying it's not a gang up. She doesn't think it's a gang up. What they are trying to do is humble Trump, make him understand that you need to be humble even if you want to be a leader. I think BD brings good viewpoints to some of these things. BD, if you can increase the volume, but I can hear her very well. Maybe because we're in the control center here. Anyway, let's go on to We viewers, that's it. Soon we will all have a precise decision on this hush puppy thing. Bringing in our man,
Hush
Dr.
money, hush
Godwin.
money, not hush puppy.
Hush money, sorry. Hush money. Hush money is right there. Bringing our man, Dr. Godwin from Moscow, Russia. Dr. Godwin, welcome. We know you're taking time out of your job to do this.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So, guys, let's go on to more stories. Godwin, it's good you're here when we want to say this. So many things that needs your attention too. There's a story yesterday. All media homes, even Al Jazeera, was taking it. A man was arrested in Poland over alleged plan by Russians to plot to kill Zelensky.
Drama.
Yes, Zelensky. We don't know how, but every media house was running on that. They said a Polish man has been arrested and is charged with plans to cooperate with the Russian intelligence service to aid a possible assassination of Zelensky, the Ukrainian president. Godwin, is that true?
What will he be doing in Poland?
Let Godwin come in. Let's hear Godwin.
You know, I cannot speak for something I've never seen or heard, but I can only tell you the likelihood of such kind of thing happening. And based on likelihood, that could not be farther away from the truth. First of all, there's a rumored agreement between Russia, Israel, and other countries, as I see published in the media, of Russia and Ukraine not going to hurt each other's leaders. Secondly, many videos have been posted of Zelensky being in a meeting with soldiers, meeting with people that were broadcast on Russian Telegram channels. And Russia, with a drone, showed the meeting and said, if we wanted to, commenters were saying, like, if Russia wanted to strike, they would have struck at that point. So it's like somebody showing you a video and saying, like, if we wanted to strike, we'd strike. Top leaders of Europe who visit Europe, many times their locations, their visits are announced in time, ahead of time. Russia doesn't attack those regions where they are located. So there is absolutely evidence. History has shown that during the course of this event, that there is no event and there's no need to do that. By the way, and there'll be no one to sign negotiation. Remember, Russia is openly calling for negotiation based on reality, but only Ukraine has banned negotiation with Russia in their law, based on presidential decree. So there'll be no one to sign the document of any peace deal if until the next election. By the way, he has refused to conduct. Zelensky has refused to conduct presidential election due to the conflict, postponing it. Meanwhile, his tenure will be expiring in May, and a lot of people are saying, well, if after May, what happens? So we cannot negotiate with Zelensky in good faith if he's no more legally the legal president. Meanwhile, during the course of this conflict, Russia has had elections. Even Donbass has had referendum. So it's difficult to understand why an election. Recall that Zelensky got to power based on the votes of Russians living in eastern Ukraine, promising them peace, especially with Russia, and giving them equal treatment. And he got into power, and he's no more friends with the Russian-speaking people in the eastern part of Ukraine.
Nice. You came in right on time to do this.
Did you say that Russia had an election or selection? Which one is it?
Whatever you want to call it.
Listen to this. You know, we know.
No, let me answer the question. If you ask if it's selection or selection, obviously it's selection, not selection.
It's selection actually, because one man is backed against the wall and everybody's afraid, and the limited information comes to them. You know, they have no choice but to make a selection. This is what you call that. There is no election there. We know that every opposition dies. You know, so how can you call that a fair ground to any kind of election?
There were 4 political candidates.
Forget about that. Those are the ones that just came out. They came from his gang. to make it look good. What you
to
Indians call it shine
fulfill all
face.
righteousness.
Shine face. Exactly. That's all it is. So we know
This
we
To
know the
fulfill all
likes of it.
righteousness.
Yes,
Okay.
that's all it is.
There's
But
no
you know, I mean,
evidence for
listen,
that, obviously,
no,
and it's not.
I mean, there
about
is,
this.
you know, listen.
Anyway,
Hmm.
guys,
No
let's move
evidence.
on
Yeah.
again. Let's move on. Something
Yeah.
again from
Move on,
Russia.
please.
Godwin, I hope you have that story. There's a lifestyle blogger that confessed to starving his own unborn son to death because he was trying to prove that children could live by eating sunlight instead of food and milk and normal food. Do you have that story? It took us in Western Europe, because not because it's Russia, but because you wonder why somebody says you can eat sunlight. You know, that's what he's trying to prove, that you
I
can
mean,
eat
look,
sunlight.
There
So
are
maybe
no
it's a
crazy
new
people out
concept
there.
that needs
look,
to.
come on. In every society,
There are
there
crazy
are always
people.
there are fringe elements, but then the crime rate in Russia is not as high as the West, US or Europe. So I wonder what it shocks them for something that occurs less rarer in Russia than in Europe, and then it's
Okay,
shocking them. It's hypocrisy.
You know,
I,
you know
I
the
don't know.
funny
I
okay,
don't
thing.
know the details
that's
of
it.
that, but it's not
That's it.
as important as
You know the funny
Okay,
thing
maybe,
is
maybe
that
later you can check on that story. Okay, it's
this
not
very,
something I want us to talk about anyway. It's just a news flash that came in, and we
Okay.
saw that. Let's go more to the Haiti situation.
Situation. Yes.
America is deporting Haitian citizens back to their country, in spite of what is happening in Haiti. And some people are now calling out America and saying this is inhuman. I mean, Haiti is facing one of the world's worst humanitarian crises right now, and Haiti should, America government should understand that instead of people fleeing all the way, you put them back in the flight and take them back to where they are running away from. Gentlemen, what do you say? Let me start with Raji. How do you take back people running away from
Yes.
trouble?
Unfortunately, the history of American involvement in Haiti, as far back as 18 something, has been so unfortunate for the Haitians. Unfortunate for the Haitians. Now, most of these criminals that are being repatriated back to Haiti, it is without the knowledge and consent of the Haitian government. And most of them are not even exactly Haitians. They are just dropped in Haiti, and they most of them are the people who are members of this man who calls himself Bakiku and all these things. Criminals you just imported non-Haitians, Haitians, and all manner of people are being imported back to Haiti. And after they have finished their prison terms, they land them in Haiti. They have nowhere to go to. So the natural thing is for them to join a gang. And
Oh,
this is what
now,
America has
now,
been doing. And that's why
now,
I wonder what Kenya is getting
yourself involved
itself
with.
involved in.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Godwin, that's the situation now, and a lot of people are shouting, "It's wrong." I mean, you can't have a crisis, and normally refugees spring up as a result of crisis. You've always talked about illegal migration and all that. What do you think of this one now? This one is serious. Haiti is in very
It's
dire situation.
it's not different. It's from the same classic playbook. Sponsoring wars abroad and regime change leads to power vacuum and
Mhm.
mass migration. Whether it's through covert or overt means, when you destroy a culture, a power structure, a hierarchy system, you're going to create a power vacuum, and it's going to lead to loss of migration. Now, how the US should react in this, I cannot decide for Americans. Americans
Mhm.
should decide if they want to be humanitarians and allow these people, allow these people into their country, or if they say, well, our interest comes first and please go back home. This is the interest. This is something that they have to make, because I believe the residents of a country decide, but it's bad when it's inappropriate when the leaders are taking decisions on their behalf. It's good to get a poll rating to see what Americans want. if the most Americans want that, then they should do that. If Americans don't want that, they shouldn't do that. I always respect the voice of the American people.
Okay, thank you very much. George, one thing is known, one fact that has been put out, even though it's not a conventional statement, but they say most of the crimes in Haiti is being orchestrated from America. That even the coups and all those things is being planned in America. In fact, it is some Haitian American citizens that do these things inside America. So if you now have this problem in Haiti, America should consider the fact that they are part of what is happening in that country and allow these innocent citizens, these are innocent people that don't know anything, but they get caught up in the web of government policies. George, what do you say?
Well, there is an increase in anti-American sentiment in Haiti because they believe, as a matter of fact, Raji was talking about America being involved in Haiti since 1803. No, it was France actually that was involved, and hijacked that country and put them into a stranglehold for many years. After they finished that, then America started with it. So a lot of anti-American sentiment because many of the Haitian leaders are being basically, funneled by America. They're influenced. And that's what a lot of Haitians are crying about. And this is part of the reason why the former police officer, Mr. Barbecue, is actually barbecuing everything in Haiti today and hijacking the airport and making sure that the appointed leader, who after the killing of the former president, actually does not come back or take authority because they want a new election, they want to elect somebody new. So this is what you're seeing. Now, it's happened in the past, whereby, many nations are being influenced, to leaders are being put in there. And some of these things are happening because there are the government involvement in fueling and bringing people to take over. It's being alleged. We don't have any concrete evidence to that. That's an allegation. So until we get some concrete evidence that this is what is happening, we saw what happened in Egypt, what happened in Turkey, what happened in Libya, what happened in Iraq. So these are the examples during the Arab Spring, where leaders are being, put in there in order to maintain peace or whatever they call it. And these are authoritarian leaders, dictators. When the Arab Spring kind of expelled them, most of them were killed. So that's where we are today when it comes to war diplomacy and politics.
Thank you, George. Well said. Thank you. Okay, guys, the time is running out, but let's look at some other things from different corners again. In Iran.
Sorry, Mr. Mark.
Yes.
Okay. I will put something on Haiti.
What do you want to say? But our time is going fast. Okay, let's keep it to next week. We can't hear you very well.
No, the case of Haiti. Yes. Yeah.
Your network.
Okay. All right. Freezing. That's okay.
Your network is freezing. Okay. So we're following other stories, gentlemen. Let's look at other stories. Iran has a story that is coming in now. It says police are intensifying their enforcement of the country's hijab restriction, and a video actually just came out showing a squad of police called Morality Police pushing women into vehicles because they're not wearing hijab. Yes, it's actually it's their matter, it's them, it's their story. But when these women are now coming out to say they are also being they say they are being assaulted, and some of them are even saying sexually assaulted and beaten brutally by these so-called police. I think it now becomes an issue the world should also look. So, George, what do you think? People being compelled to put on hijab, and if they're not wearing the hijab, they are now forced into a vehicle and taken to be dealt with. George, I'm trying to bring the video of what it was happening. Go ahead.
Well, it's happening there. You know, they've had several issues. One was killed not too long ago, and there was a national protest against that. But they're increasing it. You know, it's part of their, you know, religion joined with the governing power. I don't know what to say about that. That's their religion. You know, but if people that you're leading, there are voices against what you're doing. You know, they need to really take care of it, because in most of those areas, women are basically objects, whether we like it or not. They have no equal standing with men, and this is, you know, their own part of what their belief system. But there are a lot of people rising up against such mentality and belief system. So, and many of them are being arrested, you know, and hopefully there will be an equalization of truth when it comes to allowing women to be who they want to be, you know, rather than jacking them up and put them against the wall, you know, because of not covering.
Sorry for that. Raji, Raji, you can unmute. You are a Muslim. Unmute your phone, Raji.
Okay.
Now, when a situation is like this, is it not going the extra mile? I mean, it's actually their tradition. This is it for the Muslims in most part of the world. So, but why are they making it a forceful thing? The women should also understand that it is a tradition and it's a way of life and should follow suit. Raji, what do you think?
So, what I do not understand is when it gets to the extreme. That a simple case of not putting on a hijab will lead to the death of somebody. Whatever it is that equates a person's life to wearing a hijab, it's beyond my comprehension. Beyond my comprehension. And is it not like George mentioned?
Okay, sorry for the noise.
Like George mentioned, is it where it is actually out of the out of what will I say now? Out of the weakness of a man to insist that when a woman is not properly covered, it excites him. And for that case, you have to punish that woman for not putting on something. She is not responsible for your excitement. She is not responsible for it. If you cannot hold your excitement, please. And it's, wearing a hijab is cultural, not religious. Not religious. I really don't understand. I really don't understand.
It's good. A Muslim is saying this. It's good. Raji is the one saying this.
I really don't understand.
Thank you, Raji. Godwin, I don't know. Do you have anything to say on this? Because some of the girls came out, some of the ladies came out in numbers and said they were being abused, they were being treated molested. Yes, all because of this hijab thing.
Hijab.
Yeah, like you say, it's their culture, it's their way of life. They chose this way of life. It wasn't us who chose it. But if you ask me what I personally believe, I would love to see more women have rights, more women involvement. I mean, it's a wish, it's not a pressure. They have the right to choose, decide their own destiny. But I would like to say that there's no evidence here that the lady was killed or anything like that. She was taken into custody. She was fine. Maybe she'll be fine. Maybe she'll be punished and released. And we don't know the consequence, what their actions were. So we cannot.
I'm talking about the previous incident.
The one.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
not
just
even a lady. It's not a lady. It's
and also
ladies.
Yeah, also men are also and also men are also punished also for dressing wrongly. It's not only women. It's been reported widely on the press that men also have been arrested and detained for dressing wrongly. So you can see it's widespread in their culture. But obviously we understand some of the inequality that at least from the outside, due to our maybe Western or Russian culture, we don't see as much women involvement in politics as we have over here. but we respect their culture and their decisions.
Thank you very much, guys. We have to go. We have to go. We've done it well. Thank you very much, Dr. Godwin. Thank you, Raji. Thank you, Sir George.
Pleasure, man.
Yes. Of the other news flying out, but we'll be on the guard. The ones we can put out in our program, we'll share little snippets we get and keep our viewers updated. Viewers, we thank you for coming by. This is SSM News Echoes Friday Global Affairs. And till we come your way on Monday, in between the lines, thank you and bye-bye.
Have a nice weekend, guys.